Good day, my friends. It's time for an online battle again. Chaos against Elves. I seem to be Chaos a lot lately. And on Barrier Idols, which is a map I've done a few times in online battles, I think. But this is the map selection pool for the ranked battles. Whoa, spinny camera. So my army is fairly simple in its design. I haven't brought a great deal of variety in my troops. So my front line is 5 units of Chaos Warriors. These are the non-armor piercing ones, so I thought they'd be good against the Elves. Hoping he didn't have a lot of tree units, of course. Got halberds on either end to protect against any cavalry, and I've got 2 units of Chaos Marauders because I think I had the money left over. I've got a Feral Manticore, which is something you don't see me bring too often. I usually don't bring too many flying units, but against the Elves I thought it may be a good idea. Prince Sigvald is leading my forces, of course. I didn't want to bring anything large like Colette because he'd probably get shot down by missiles, and I've just realised to completely contradict that decision, I bought a Dragon Ogre, but he's not my general, so it doesn't matter too much if he dies. The enemy is rolling up on me early with his flying units. I've got a couple of units of Warhounds, Poison and Normal, flanking around the side. He shouldn't have seen them, they should be invisible. I've got 2 units that were hidden in trees, but I brought them across to start their flanking position. Sending my Manticores into the Hawk Riders. Not really sure how the Manticore is going to fare, because like I say, I don't use them too often, so I'm not sure how they stack up against other flying units. But then his general comes after me, so I think, alright, you want to throw down with my general? We'll have a go. We'll see who can come out on top. Manticore losing at the moment. He did get attacked in the back though. Blade Lord is taking some damage. Either way, the more damage we can do to their general, the better. My Shaggoth is running off. I was going to try and hide him behind the hill. I didn't bring any range, so I have little I can do about these flying units really, apart from my Feral Manticore, who is starting to get the better of the Glade Lord. Manticore has more health now. Now I did wonder if he just micro-aeried and forgot to take his general away, or whether he was just doing it and he's got a plan and he's maybe got a potion, because the Glade Lady can take a potion. But he's netted my Manticore and he's off now. Maybe he's realised he's taken maybe a bit more damage than he probably wanted to. Let's have a look at the Elven army. Completely forgot about them. So he's got 4 units of Eternal Guard with shields at the front. Good melee defense, good holding unit. Scattered around, he's got a couple of units of Asrai Spear War Dancers. A very strong unit, great anti-large, but also great armor piercing. So a good call against the Chaos. And then some armor piercing missiles, of course, also good against Chaos. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to spell something at the back to heal up his troop. So a heavily anti-large army there. Good job I didn't bring too many monsters. My army is slowly but surely moving up. Taking fire from those Hawk Riders. He's firing at my halberds, curiously, who are probably one of the least threats to him because they're an anti-large unit. He doesn't really have any large, so not sure why he's focusing them and not the Chaos Warriors. I think they would be a bigger threat. Manticore's on its way back over. Try and get him after those Hawk Riders. Trying to spring a cheeky surprise attack on him with some Warhounds, trying to get after his skirmishers, but he has noticed it, and the Asrai Spears are coming over to protect. I'm going to make it look like I'm going to run straight at them and then just whoop, try and sneak through them. And I'm going to run straight through the middle of them because they're quite spread out, those War Dancers. And then I'm able to munch into 2 units with my Warhounds. They're not going to do a great deal of damage, not with Asrai Spears on their case, but they can chop them down just a little bit. Of course, not going to last very long with their crappy leadership and the Roskis. But they've done maybe 10 to 15 kills. But that's 10 or 15 less archers to shoot my boys down. Maybe it was a little bit premature of an attack there, but I went for it. I damn went for it. Now, there's yet more exciting stuff to talk about at the moment with E3 having just gone. I'm sure many of you have followed it and seen some stuff, seen some new games that you're looking forward to. I know I have. One of my personal highlights, a game I used to play a ton back in the day on PS2, Monster Hunter, finally makes a return to a real console, not anything Nintendo. So I am supremely thrilled to see a return of that game because it was an awesome game, and it may even make it to be a second game covered on my channel. I don't know. I've been thinking about other games to cover on this channel because primarily it's a Total War channel and I definitely want to keep it that way, but I do want to do some other stuff just to mix it up a bit. I've got a couple of videos next week. I'm going to be dropping about some different games which you may see, which leads me to the question, what games are you people excited about? What games do you people play? What do people who are fans of Total War, what other games do they play? That's what I'm trying to ask. So I want to know what my fan base likes, and actually my formation here is abysmal, I know, before anyone tells me off as they like to do. I need to start using locked groups, I know, but I don't really like how they change the behaviour of the units, but it does of course make them move at the same speed and mean they don't walk up in a staggered line like they are for me now. My Manticore trying to deal with these Hawk Riders, about to get rid of 1 unit though, going to try and get him into the second one. But anyway, what was I on about? Yeah, so let me know what you people like, let me know what games you like, because it does help shape the channel a little bit. If I learn what kind of things my people like, it'll kind of factor into my decision a little bit. But I will put some stuff up regardless and just see how people respond to it. And we'll go from there. Of course, Warhammer 2, a bunch of stuff for that as well was covered. They showed us the Battle of the Fallen Gates, but they didn't really show us or say that much about the units or anything about the factions too much, so it wasn't the best video in the world, but we learned a few things. And I have a theory. An interesting theory that may prove complete nonsense or may be completely correct. Let me know what you think. So, here's my theory. They announced that if you pre-order Warhammer 2, you get a free race pack for Warhammer 1. So who's that race pack? What faction is it gonna be? I reckon it's gonna be Skaven. Skaven? But they're meant to be in Warhammer 2. That's what you'd think. So at the end of the trailer, for the original Warhammer 2 trailer that they brought out, they put a rat at the end and we're all supposed to think, oh, who's the fourth faction? It's gonna be the Skaven. That seems far too obvious. It seems like too obvious a thing. Like, people are obviously gonna know what that rat means, so it's kind of pointless to even kind of pretend that it's like a teaser. So I think what would make more sense, and correct me if I'm wrong, Warhammer nerds, but the Skaven reside in the old world, do they not? Which means it would make sense for them to be in the old world map. I hear you cry. Who knows? We shall see. So I think it's going to be Skaven in Warhammer 1, and then they have said that Warhammer 2 is going to have 4 factions, so I think that'll just be someone else, maybe the Tomb Kings or someone else in that region. I don't know. It just occurred to me, I was watching an interview with Al Bickham about the game, and it just occurred to me that the Skaven are going to be the one for Warhammer 1. It makes sense if they are, of course, in the old world, and I'm not just completely wrong. Go on, Sigvold. Oh, Sigvold knocking out some spearmen. Anyway, back to the battle at hand. I went off on a bit of a tangent there. I do apologise. I get lost talking about these things sometimes. My Warhammers are all my Warhounds are all running off. I sent them into the back of the archers again. He's healing them up with his spell singer. I've done a fair amount of damage though. Trying to disrupt them more than anything. Brought the ogre in. I brought these all around the back, as you probably saw. Trying to get after the skirmishers. Dragon ogre's a bit too close to the wall dancers there. I've got to try my hardest to avoid all the anti-large with my dragon ogre, or he's just going to get cut down very quickly. So I've got to keep him on the move really, otherwise they're just going to try and pin him down. Flanking around with the Chaos Marauders, starting to surround these spearmen. Oh, I've had a bit of bullshit going on with my Warhounds, so they've all routed off the map basically. So they've all gone off in this direction, which runs off the map, which means they can't come back. They could have gone this way, they could have gone this way, but no, all 4 units went off the map and they're not coming back. Kind of bullshit, because obviously they were a key to getting after the skirmishers. Yeah, kind of annoying. My Shaggoth here, struggling with navigation as well. I told him to go straight round there, but for some reason he wants to go back first. No idea what's going on. Hawk Riders come in, flanked by Chaos Warriors. General on general action going there. Starting to flank around with my halberds. They're very late to the battle. What are you all doing? This is my terrible formation. Oh dear. It's a struggle so far. It's a struggle, but it's my own fault. I'm not playing very well in this one so far. He's throwing his general down with Sigvold, who is a duelist. Perhaps not the best choice. Oh, he's blowing him about with his wings though. Healed his general up with some magic as well, so he's making it extra tough. My boys are routing though. My Chaos Warriors have had enough. Somehow they're not able to defeat Eternal Guard, which is very strange. But I guess they were probably outnumbered and got flanked by the Hawk Riders. So lots of green flags at the moment and not a lot of black ones left. So it's a bit of a struggle at the moment. Sending in some more guys. Sigvold's still throwing down with the Glade Lord, who has full health. Going heavy on the magic. She might have had a potion as well, which is going to keep her health up even more. So a tough fight for Sigvold, but he's doing alright. He's doing alright. I can't remember whether I gave him regeneration myself, but he seems to still be alive at least. They've tied up my Shaggoth, who's trying to get away. I'm going to pull him through some of my halberds there. They'll try and protect him a little bit. I'm going to send him off to try and get some archers and stuff. Anyway, yeah, so let me know what you think about my Skaven theory. Does it sound ridiculous or does it sound plausible? Ooh, and what do you think? Maybe you've got a theory as to who the other faction is. Let me know. Some other cool games at E3 as well. Anthem looked kind of cool, a BioWare game. I'm a big fan of BioWare. State of Decay 2 I'm looking forward to. I love me a good zombie game, even though they're a little bit overdone these days. I still do enjoy them. I forget what else stood out to me. Probably some other stuff that I'm really big stuff that I'm probably forgetting, but Monster Hunter just wins everything, so I don't really care about anything else. I just want to hunt some big old monsters. Just like this Shaggoth here wants to hunt tiny little elves to smash to pieces, which he is doing. Still though, there's lots of green flags, and I am struggling. The Glade Lady though has taken a fair amount of damage, spent a bit too much fighting Sigvold I think. But my boys are returning to the battle, and we're going to give it to them. We're not out of this fight yet. I think it's those War Dancers though, they're very good at taking down heavily armoured units. Even though they have no armour themselves, they've got physical resistance of course. Ton of armour piercing, very very dangerous unit. Got some units doing nothing, need to bring them back. Shaggoth's still charging around, these Hawk Riders give me a little bit of grief. Really should have brought some Horse Marauders or something to fire at these bastards. My Chaos Warriors though, very terrible in the kill department. They have very few kills, any of them, which is kind of surprising as I thought they'd cut through Elven infantry quite comfortably because they're not armor piercing units. So they're not really heavily armoured these elves, 40 armour. So yeah, a bit strange how we haven't killed more of them, but maybe he's been healing them up with his magic this whole time. See, even these Eternal Guard have more kills than my Chaos Warriors, which is kind of embarrassing, seeing as I paid a fair bit more. I must have got the Aldi version of Chaos Warriors, I think. If anyone knows what that means. People in the UK might, not sure about America, but oh well. Nice unit of Elves here for my Shaggoth to destroy. So because my Warhounds got destroyed and went early, I've had to use my fastest unit, being my Shaggoth, to get after the missile units as much as I can. Because otherwise we're just going to get torn apart by them, because I have nothing fast that can catch them other than the Shaggoth. And of course I can't really send the Shaggoth in to fight this lot too much, because they're all anti-large and they will wreck his stuff very quickly. Chaos Warriors still fighting on though. Lots of Elves, lots of spears. How they're holding, I will never know. But I've got some boys coming back. Sigvold's still going. Some routing units in the distance coming back. Shaggoth coming in. There's a nice little tidy pile here. Come on. Oh no, I sent them elsewhere. I thought... Oh, well that was anticlimactic. But I got rid of the Hawk Riders. Happy days. Sigvold's coming in as well. Oh, they went flying. So trying to charge my Shaggoth in, kind of using more of a shock cavalry style. Charge him in, pull him away. Don't want to leave him fighting spearmen, of course. Come some more boys. There we go. There we go. Into the nice big clump of spearmen. And we're routing two of those units. Oh, the Glade Lord's coming in. She's trying to finish off the Shaggoth. He doesn't have much health left. He's taking a fair bit of missile fire. You can see he's only got a few hundred health. Oh, he's going to get hit on the Glade Lady. She's nearly dead. Oh, the Shaggoth goes down. Oh, but she goes down. Who's come out of nowhere? It's Sigvold. He snuck round and stabbed her in the back like a true Chaos Lord. Alright. So we got their general dead, but there is still a lot of Elves left. And some of my boys are routing. So it's kind of anyone's game at the moment. It could still go either way, even though they've lost their general. These Elves don't have terrible leadership, so they will stick around. And there is a spell singer, probably keeping them in the fight. She's going to be dropping some life spells when he can, although he's probably used a lot of it up by now. Now you may have noticed that things have slowed down a little bit on my channel recently. And my channel is kind of volatile like that. I will sometimes post like 3 videos in a week, and then I'll post like 1 video the next week, and then I'll miss the next week. Not out of choice. I just won't be able to post anything, and then I'll post again the next week. Like, it's just kind of all over the place. And I do apologise that my scheduling is a little bit inconsistent, but that's just life, unfortunately. Gets in the way and slows me down. But hopefully in the coming months I'll be able to focus more on the channel. Also, it's been a bit more since I've started doing these army guides. I'm working on the Dwarf Army Guide, which should hopefully be up next week, but they do take away from all the other videos that I could do. So it kind of slows down the progress of all other kind of the campaign videos, the tactic videos, when I'm doing the guide, because they take so much work that all my kind of effort goes there. So I do apologise if things get slowed down occasionally, but next week at least I'll be able to post a fair few videos and make up for my terrible lack of content for all you beautiful people. We're slowly starting to get the better of these Elves, I think. There's still a good amount of spearmen left. We're starting to get rid of them. Hawk Riders coming back, just being an annoyance. Sigvold standing strong though, starting to waver a lot of these units. A lot of these spear people are going. They're not going to hang around. Hurry up and rout, because my voice is getting higher. And I won't be able to go much higher. I need as well as I can go. Hurry up. They're still just not going. They're just hanging around. My boys are wavering, running away. It's anybody's guess at the moment. It could literally go either way. Sigvold is probably the one keeping them in the fight. I've seemed to rout a lot of their units now, and it looks like the boys by Sigvold are holding strong. Got some Chaos Marauders going over to get those skirmishers. And we've routed them. They're all gone. There's only a few units left. These ones are the routed ones. Going to chase them down. Of course, they're going to outrun me because they're faster. We'll fast forward it now. So the battle literally came down to this. Me chasing off his units. Now, the thing about it was that the timer, the battle timer, there was only about 2 minutes left. And as you may know, if the battle ends without a winner, then it just goes to a draw, right? So I basically won, but I'm at risk of this going to a draw because his units aren't going to be completely routed. So I'm chasing after his units, trying to get them dead. Of course, I can't catch them, so I just have to try and run them off the map. But I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to do it in the 2 minutes. I was kind of worried. The battle timer you can see at the top now is the replay timer. It's just how long this replay is. It's not the actual battle timer. So you can't see it, the timer, but it was very close to running down to 0. So can I catch him? That was the question I was asking myself. Can I make his units run away in time, or is he playing for the draw? I don't know if this guy was, obviously he's not controlling his routed units, but I didn't know if he was going to try and run them around to keep them away, so because he can obviously outrun me, so there's nothing I can really do about it. But playing for the draw, it's kind of a stupid thing, I think, to play to the draw if like the favour bar at the top there is clearly in my favour. So I've obviously won, so give me the win if the timer runs out. But no, for some reason it gives you a draw. It's kind of stupid, but I guess it kind of makes you play for the win, so you go a bit harder than just kind of sitting back and trying to play for the draw. We get a Pyrrhic victory though, as his units did come back and run into Sigvold, who just smashed them and then they shattered. But let's have a look at some of these kills. Sigvold, 100 kills there, he's doing well. He's not really a crowd fighter, but he did pretty well. Chaos Warriors, pretty terribly, considering what I was expecting them to do. Warhounds obviously didn't do very much. I could have used them better, definitely. My Shaggoth, again, a good star of the show, the Shaggoth. I managed to keep him alive for a good while. He did a good amount of damage. These Asteroid Spears, though, absolute destroyers of anything heavily armoured. Any infantry that's heavily armoured, and of course large units, they'll take them down. Eternal Guard didn't do fantastically. We kept everything else from doing too much damage, but yeah, a close one indeed. It was looking dark for me there, looking grim. I didn't play my best by any means. That was a pretty terrible one for me. My formation was horrible all over the place. I used the Warhounds probably too early. I should have at least saved one unit for the late game when I could have just run down all those skirmishers and just chewed them to pieces. My Shaggoth I did well with, though. Kept him alive. I think the one big mistake here, though, for my opponent was bringing his Glade Lady to try and fight the Shaggoth at the end. If he'd kept his Glade Lady alive, he probably would have won that. They would have had enough morale to stick around and finish off my Chaos Warriors, maybe finish off Sigvold, but he wanted to get that Shaggoth dead, and he did, just in time, but I think his spears would have done that because they are anti-large, of course, so they would have taken him down, and it was a bit unnecessary to put the Glade Lady in that kind of risk. But a good game nonetheless. I actually played this guy 3 times. This was the 3rd battle we played. I played him once a few days before this one, and I won. I was the Greenskins, he was the Elves. I overran him with all my Orcs. And then we played another game before this one, where he was the Vampires, I was the Empire, where he beat me and he scared most of my army off, and my Empire boys just couldn't do anything. So this was kind of the decider. We had one apiece. This was the decider, and I managed just to come out on top. It was a close one, though. He probably won it, really, but his one mistake cost him the battle. Good use of his Spellslinger, healing up all his units. He was protecting against the Warhound. He was protecting against the Shaggoth most of the time. He whittled my boys down with his missile advantage. And I think that probably sums up this battle. I thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments about the things, whatever the hell I was talking about earlier. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll see you in the future.